Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This reading is going to be for the sign of Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Pisces, this is your 2021 yearly forecast. These readings are a little bit longer than normal, so stay tuned. The messages are always really super great and super helpful, especially the oracle messages at the end. Using the Cosmic Tarot for this reading, and then we'll use another deck to clarify if needed, and then we'll get a couple oracle card guidance at the end. What are the messages for Pisces, Spirit, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus? Pisces. What are the 2021 messages for Pisces? Accurate guidance for Pisces. As always, if the reading resonates, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This style of reading is also one that I do also personal readings for, and technically it's still discounted from earlier this year. So normally this is an over $100 service. It is $75 if it interests you. A lot of people really enjoy this reading to just sort of see what to expect for the year ahead, and then you can kind of like, you know, use the reading as sort of a guide as you go through each month. I know that's what I do. I actually still need to do my own individual one for next year. Picked up on the Fool card and now the Death card. So actually I've already filmed Aries and Scorpio. Those are the only two that I've done so far. So if you have either of those signs or energies in your chart, or you're dealing with them, you may want to go check that out. And the Temperance, look at that coming out in next December during Sag to Capricorn season. Your overall energy for the year is the Seven of Swords. Really learning those lessons from the past. I feel like for a lot of you Pisces, like we see this coming out in January, which we'll talk about in a second. You have the Strength card here, Leo. Tower card reversed, more Scorpio energy. I feel like you're like, if you have spiritual gifts, okay, I feel like they're increasing. If, you know, this is just talking about sort of being in touch with your spirituality and your intuition, that seems to be intensifying. Could also, you know, very well be some, you know, you could be sort of learning new practices or skills, right? This card is actually holding a card, right? So maybe some of you want to learn how to read cards, in which case I will be launching classes soon. So, but not just yet, soon though, they'll be available. So it could be anything along those lines, right? You could be sort of going to some sort of spiritual teacher or counselor, or again, more so stepping into that role for yourself. It's really interesting because I distinctly remember from last year that this card came up a lot, right? When I was doing the yearly readings for last year for all the signs, it came out in many of the readings. You could go back and look at them if you want to. And of course, at that time, I had no idea like what specifically was going to happen this year. But obviously, as we come to the end of 2020, right, and we look back, I think we can really see how, you know, world events, global events have, for some of us, really sort of tested, right, our faith and our strength. And for a lot of people, it has deepened, right, that faith and that strength as a result of sort of the tests that you've been through. So I just feel like there's sort of a continuation of that energy, but it seems like there's been something that's happened like more so relatively recently, maybe since the full moon eclipse in Gemini back in at the sort of beginning of Sagittarius season back on November 30th. Okay, I just feel like there could be something related to that. In particular, it feels very much like, again, your intuition sort of is just getting stronger, or maybe you're, you know, just developing a deeper connection to it, deeper sense of trust, or, you know, again, for those of you who may have spiritual gifts, clairaudience, clairsentience, any of the above, you know, I feel like those things may be deepening as well. For some of you, maybe you're just sort of like recognizing or opening up to those gifts for the first time. I'm just going to try to, I think that's a little better. Okay. In February, you have the 10 of Pentacles. I really like this for you. So for a lot of y'all, I feel like if you have been, struggling monetarily this year, okay, and a lot of people have, obviously, okay, or if you've sort of been working to kind of build something, build up, oh my gosh, my dog just, no, Zeus, I'm sorry, you gotta go. What are we gonna do? All right, you can sit there then. Just don't knock the camera. So he likes to sit under the table while I'm reading. So anyway, and now he's moving again. Yeah, for those of you who may have been working to sort of have more stability and security for yourself, I'm particularly getting pulled to like, someone who may sort of be an entrepreneur, like a consultant, really kind of like, you kind of like make your own work and your own sort of opportunities. It doesn't have to be for all of you, right? But I just feel like someone kind of like hitting their stride, or again, sort of reaching this place of stability and security, especially as it pertains to work and finances. And that seems to be happening, as we see here, like pretty early on in the year. So for some of you, you may already sort of be in this energy, okay? And if not, it feels like, again, it's coming very soon. You could also be connecting with an earth sign individual. I'm getting that very heavily also in the first 2 months of the year. Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. And of course, we will be in Capricorn season as we start out the year, right? So now he's stuck under the table. Okay. The next card you have is the 7 of Wands, fire energy, right? This card really talks about, again, sort of when I see this card, I see the 6 of Wands, right? We see the 6 of Wands here. And the 6 of Wands talks about victory and triumph, right? And this card is talking about needing to sort of maintain that, or like standing your ground. So it could just sort of be like, competition, especially again, thinking in terms of those of you who might be independent sort of contractors or consultants, entrepreneurs, also like creatives or artists. I just feel like someone who may sort of work in a sort of competitive kind of field or environment, and sort of like, kind of like fending off the competition, like maintaining your position or your spot. If it's not in the context of that, it could just be in terms of, protecting and guarding your energy with the Hierophant, right? Which again was a lot of the energy that I picked up on last year. It's a lot about, kind of like this rising above energy, not really getting into the fray, like disagreements, arguments that don't really have to do with you. It's really like minor, petty, BS, just like staying above all of that, right? Like really like how this fence is kind of guarding, right? Keeping that sort of energetic guard around yourself, especially because again, it's like you're really working to build and manifest something that seems almost like deeply lasting, like legacy building here. And you don't want anything, that's sort of like trite and temporary to get in the way of that, right? Even momentarily. Why? It'll be like a stain on the journey, The next card you have is, and it's interesting because that really plays into that overall energy, right? With the 7 of Swords. So often, the 7 of Swords talks about, someone who's being deceptive, lying, cheating, or perhaps even like deluding ourselves, being a little bit disillusioned. But with this 7 of Swords, I more so get, it's like the figure is cloaked, right, in the light of the moon, in the light of that very feminine, intuitive energy, right? Feels very like high priestess, right? Which is you, Pisces. And it's like you use that, right? And part of how you've cultivated that is that there have been other experiences you've had to go through before, right? Notice how that actually mirrors quite nicely the 7 of Wands to the 7 of Swords, right? In terms of what you've had, the trials and tribulations that you've had to go through, which have led to your victories and successes. Now you can use those things to avoid similar types of situations in the future, right? And again, it's saying that, this is really like navigating by, again, our inner knowing and our intuition, as opposed to relying on outside sort of sources or people to, tell us which direction to go, right? Sort of a real emphasis on, I think I showed y'all that Fool card right at the beginning. Let's see if it's still there. It might not be. No, you have the Strength here. But I saw the Fool, right? Aries energy right before I started shuffling. Some of you may have caught it as well. And that just, really reminds me of, sort of taking calculated risks, right? Like kind of like putting oneself out there and being again on sort of a start of a new journey and a new cycle. So you have the Empress card showing up here in April. Okay. For a lot of you, again, I do feel like this could be related to something happening around work, right? Almost like you may be getting some type of reward or recognition, or again, sort of if this is related to, you know, sort of working on yourself or something that you've been working on, it feels like it sort of reaches a stage of like completion or resolution. Not that it's ending, but almost like you've attained some type of goal or status that you had sort of set out for, right? And I'm almost picking up on like the world energy in this card because we see that earth there at the bottom. And again, really picking up heavily on earth energy as well. So again, some of you could have earth energy in your chart, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, or you may be connecting with an earth sign as well, okay? The other energy here with this Empress card, right? We know that the Empress and the Emperor, they're never single. They're always a pair, right? So I do feel like there's even though we don't see the Emperor per se, I'll point out where I kind of do see it later on. Per se in this card, even though we don't see the Emperor, I do feel like you could be like meeting someone or, you know, if this is someone you've already met, it's like, again, sort of things sort of being more solidified or going to sort of a new stage or a new level. But I just feel like there's like the potential of like a long-term, life-term partner. And obviously for some of you, you're already there, right? And also, like, if this were something that you wanted, like the person that you would have children with, again, some of you may already be there. But I do feel like for a lot of you, it's like that person, that energy, that sort of type of relationship that's able to sustain that long-term commitment, that energy seems to be coming in here relatively quickly early on in the year, okay? In May, you have the 8 of Cups reverse. So water energy, of course, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. I actually wonder if Pisces, this may be related to someone else that you are connected with. Okay, it feels like sort of someone you have a past experience with, possibly even a past life. Possible that they have water energy, right? Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And we kind of see that coming in a little bit later as well. I didn't notice that at first, but now it's sticking out to me. But I'm actually getting that like this is someone or something that you've walked away from, okay? And I actually feel like this person or the situation that you've walked away from, however it is that it may resonate, I feel like they are really struggling as a result of you having done this, okay? Or you, you know, it's like almost like they can feel you kind of moving away, moving in a different direction, distancing yourself. I am also picking up like this person may struggle with substance abuse related things, like specifically drinking, I'm seeing on this card, or just sort of like depression. But I feel like, you know, and the thing is, I feel like this is coming up because, you know, Pisces, like we have such huge hearts, you know, and so I feel like sometimes people or situations can really tug on our heartstrings. But again, I feel like the overarching message of the year, right, is like really listening to yourself. And again, if you have past experience with this person, it's likely that those are wrapped up, right, in these swords that are buried. So it's like, do you want to unearth those swords, or do you want to keep sort of navigating your way and moving your way forward, moving into the newness, the new stage, the new cycle of your life that you're meant to go into, right? Not trying to push you in one direction or another. Yes, I am. Okay, so for June, you have the 3 of Wands. I really love this energy. I feel like there's some type of there seems to be like something major that's happening over the summer months for you. So like June, July to August, right? And we'll get to the next 2 cards in a second. But I just feel like, again, it almost feels like it's something that's kind of been like a long time coming that you've sort of been working on. And it feels like this is like maybe, you know, when, you know, things really start to either, for some of you, I feel like it's pick up. For some of you, I feel like it's wrap up. Okay. So again, depends on sort of where you are on that timeline. For some of you, it could be, you know, that you, that, you know, you sort of start or initiate something closer to the middle of next year, right? And maybe there's like a 3-month process behind that, right? Like specifically I'm seeing like, and this is just an example, right? But it's almost like how like when you decide to purchase a house and you put an offer in, it's like, you know, it's like 30, 60, 90 days to close or something along those lines, right? That it's like something happens, then there's a bit of time in between until like the next thing happens. Not exactly the most eloquent, right? But you guys get what I'm saying, I hope. So at any rate, you know, this card, the Three of Wands, right? It talks about one, it's wish fulfillment, right? And our ships coming in card, right? This very as above, so below kind of energy. I'm also just, again, there's like a very strong thread throughout your reading, Pisces, of remaining grounded. And I feel like that's not really just for next year. I feel like this is like a lifelong kind of thing, you know? And because it's like your ability to sort of ground and center yourself seems to be inextricably linked with your ability to manifest, right? And to bring in whatever it is that you're trying to bring in. The other message from this card, right? Because again, it does seem like there's almost like, it's like there's like a waiting period or something like that. Or like, it's just going to be like a few more months or whatever the case may be. This card always talks about having patience, right? Allowing things to sort of unfold in divine order and timing and not rushing them. I would say whether those of you, it's like something's like almost completed or whether you're just starting out, that message really applies, right? Because sometimes when we're so close, it's like we just want to rush, get to the end. Or sometimes when we've just started out too, we're like, why are we not seeing results right away? Give it time to, you know, really develop the way that it's supposed to. In July, you have the Death card, Scorpio energy, right? So again, it seems to be, it's almost like when we hit the middle of 2021, there feels like there's this massive shift or transformation for you. Now, I don't necessarily get the impression that it's like a specific event that happens and it's like, oh shit, right? Like everything's different now. I get the sense that it's been, again, more of like a slow kind of development. But it's like by the time we roll around to spring and summer next year, it's almost like you're going to feel like a different person. And obviously you'll still feel like yourself, but like inside, right? Or, you know, you'll feel like maybe you'll start to feel like what it is that you've been working towards or working for is like really starting to, you know, again, manifest and materialize. Like you're kind of seeing it, even if you're at the beginning stages, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to actually do this. Or obviously if you're wrapping things up, even more so, right? But I do get this very sort of transformational energy, especially if you have Scorpio in your chart, or you might be dealing with a Scorpio as well, right? With that Death card. Endings and new beginnings with the Death, right? In August, you have the King of Pentacles, right? So remember, I've said that I kept picking up on Earth energy. This is Earth energy again, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. For when I was mentoring with the Empress card that I saw hints of the Emperor later on, I see it here in the back of this card, right, with the Ram. So again, for some of you, this could be talking about an Earth sign that you're connecting with, or just, again, that partner who's going to bring sort of that stability and grounding to you. Doesn't have to be a romantic connection for all of you, though I am picking up on that quite strongly. It could be, you know, someone that you partner with in sort of work here. The other thing I'm going to mention is that I'm just feeling this energy of like maybe someone who's facing some type of decision, okay? Because we see here with this King of Pentacles that he's holding 2 pentacles. So I always get the 2 of Pentacles energy off of this card, whether it's you making a decision, whether it's this person that you're connecting with. I feel like for a lot of you Pisces, it really could be you, because the very next energy that we have in September is the King of Cups, right? So remember I mentioned that we saw a water energy, right? We saw this other Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Of course, this could be you as well, right? With the King of Cups energy. But for some of you, I just feel like you may be choosing between like a King of Cups and a King of Pentacles, right? Honestly, like I actually feel relatively good energy from both. I will just say it feels like, again, right, especially if it's related maybe to this 8 of Cups, okay? It feels like there's maybe someone that you have a past history or a past experience with. So you know, making sure that you're sort of, again, kind of paying attention to that. Have you learned sort of whatever the requisite lessons of that relationship are? And if so, sort of, you know, what sort of direction is that calling you to go into in terms of making your decision? Okay. I feel like there's someone who's like kind of watching you maybe make a decision to go in another direction. Okay. The next card that you have in, what month are we in? October, is the 9 of Wands. This card actually has come up in all 3 readings. I think the Scorpio reading and the Aries reading, now you as well. Okay, and again, I'm getting this energy of like, you know, really rising above the fray, you know, not sort of getting involved in lower sort of energetic vibrational stuff, okay, especially conflict. I feel like, I don't know, you know, it could be because, you know, again, you may be conflicted between 2 people. There may be conflict between 2 people, something along those lines, okay? I think you're really being called to pay attention to here in the month of October. What is it that sort of brings you, again, sort of along this theme of grounding? What brings you a sense of stability and security, right? And whether that's, you know, what your home environment looks like and feels like, your work environment looks like and feels like, your relationships, of course. But I feel like that's part of the question that's being asked here, okay? Especially, again, if it's about sort of making a decision between 2 options or 2 individuals. In November, you have the 4 of Swords, right? And 4 of Swords, it's interesting because I feel like Scorpio had similar energy maybe in October, November as well. And again, we have Scorpio showing up strongly in your reading with not just the Death card, but we saw the Tower card reversed earlier as well. So with the 4 of Swords, right, this is saying make sure that you know, are building in that time for rest, relaxation, reflection, right? I'm just feeling like, especially towards the end of the year, right, that there's just like a very kind of, almost feels like a significant sort of slowdown, but it feels very intentional, right? So it's like if you've been like on the go, all these sort of exciting things happening and manifesting throughout the year, it's like by the time you get to the end of next year, you'll want to sort of be able to kind of like take a time out, take a beat, take a breath, connect with yourself, connect with, you know, the people that you're closest to. Because that's what this card can be talking about as well, right? Is like sort of getting that space. Oh my gosh, my dog's back. Getting that space and that time for reflection so that you can, you know, again, it's about connecting with your intuition, connect more deeply with your inner knowing and your inner knowledge. It does also speak to, you know, like sort of maybe thinking about or going to, right, the people whom you can sort of really trust, right? Your sort of trusted advisors here, whether that's family, whether that's friends, whether that's your spiritual support team. But I just feel like you may be, you know, it's interesting, right? Because a lot of times readings come full circle. And so I'm like feeling that Hierophant energy coming back in that we started the year with as we close out the year. And then, like I mentioned, in December, you have Temperance card, right? Which is Sagittarian energy, part of the astrology season for December. Again, I'm feeling like really sort of finding, you know, this place of sort of balance and rest and reflection, healing, almost I'm feeling like recuperating, but not like I feel like you're like actually recuperating from something. But again, just sort of like really taking time to self, taking time out, again, especially if you've had a lot of exciting development, sort of either personally or professionally, right? But it just feels like there's been a lot of excitement and movement throughout the year. And like by the time we get to like the final 2 to 3 months of next year, you'll want to really kind of slow down. I do still see you thinking about what it is that you sort of want to, you know, your goals and your dreams and what it is that you want to manifest in the future. And for some of you, I feel like you may look into sort of, you know, manifestation rituals or practices like the 2-cup manifestation method or things like that. I think we're going to get one clarifier for you, Pisces, for this 8 of Cups reversed. Just to sort of see. Sorry, my dog is Zeus. What is going on? I'm gonna have to put you in the crate, Papa. He's very needy and attached sometimes, especially it seems when I'm reading. Any other time he is actually kind of good on his own, although he does like being by me. Okay, so clarify the 8 of Cups reversed. So we got the Lovers and the Eight of Swords. So again, could be, it definitely is, feels like it's a someone that you already know, that you've already connected with, okay? Could be definitely a Gemini here, okay, with the Lovers card, and or another air sign, because I did see the Ace of Swords as well. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and then we have the Eight of Swords. So again, feels like this is someone that you have past experience with, almost like you've had multiple cycles of experience with this person. Each time you've engaged with this person, it's like you start right back where you started. There is no forward movement. There is no forward progression. This situation just only brings, you know, stagnancy. And so I feel like for you, like along with that Fool energy that we saw, right? Like you're really ready to have something new, have a new type of experience, right? And really sort of leave this behind. And I do feel like, you know, someone may be struggling with sort of letting this go. Okay. All right, let's get the Oracle cards and then we'll close out the reading. I think my dog is stuck again. I wish y'all could see this because it's like kind of hilarious to watch him over here, but he's messing up the camera for sure. Messages for Pisces. I thought that card was going to fly out. Lots of communication. Okay, so again, whether this is just in terms of an uptick in terms of your, you know, spiritual messages and downloads, communication with other people about work, opportunities, communication in terms of, you know, connections. I just feel that very strongly. Okay, number 33. So we'll read for that card and then we'll get one more and close out the reading. So this card indicates a need to communicate your thoughts and feelings and have the courage to speak your truth. Instead of keeping things to yourself out of fear of judgment, ridicule, or conflict, you must express your honest opinion. By doing so, you are releasing that energy from your being and promoting a healthy body and mind. This card indicates that you have something important to say. You are being encouraged to communicate or express yourself through writing, speaking, singing, dancing, acting, music, or art. You may prefer to compose poetry or note your thoughts in a journal and keep your ideas and feelings to yourself, or you may choose to voice them to others so that you may give and receive guidance and wisdom and hope. Whether your message is intended to inspire those around you or to simply heal yourself, it is important and necessary to help raise your own vibration, which in turn raises the vibration of the world. The affirmation says, by communicating my truth, I create a healthy, harmonious life. And I just wanted to add there, right? Like yesterday, right, with the solstice, with the Great Conjunction, with, you know, which has happened in the past few days, not just yesterday, but with the planets Saturn and Jupiter entering the sign of Aquarius, right? And a lot of people talking about this new age of Aquarius, whether it is or it isn't. You know, we are moving from, and I'm not an astrologer, but this is something that I read on another account that someone told me about that I follow, but it's talking about how for the past 200 years, we've been in a Capricorn-based Earth energy, right? And now we're moving into an air-based Aquarius energy, right? And how that sort of ties into, you know, again, the air representing our thought space, our mind space, our communication. So for a lot of you, I feel like, you know, your life purpose may in fact be related to communication of some sort. And again, it sort of may be that there's sort of a culmination of something that you've been working on that transpires next year, or perhaps that's really when you start to step into that role in your life. Okay. The last card is going to be from the Animal Spirit Oracle. We'll get one card from here and then close out the reading. Okay, so the card you got, Spirit has a plan, number 35, which breaks down to an 8, Koala Spirit. I love that. Let's read for this card, and then we'll close out the reading. So number 35, Koala Spirit. Spirit has a plan. It says, the oracle message, in nature, the koala moves slowly through the branches of the eucalyptus tree, leisurely chewing the leaves, reminding us that life is not a race or a competition. I love that. Chasing around after every distraction can keep us from recognizing that we have all we need, that spirit will always, I'm rushing through reading this. So chasing around after every distraction can keep us from recognizing that we have all we need, and that spirit will always be there with gifts to sustain us. You are being asked to trust that by moving slowly with faith in the abundance that, oh my gosh, why can't I read today? That by moving slowly with faith in the abundance that is everywhere, surrendering to a power greater than yourself, you will be able to experience the manifestation of your desire. As you take your time enjoying the riches available to you right now, sitting peacefully, you begin to radiate the joy and abundance you seek. Spirit is here to help you discover happiness, pleasure, and contentment, all gifts that are yours now and in the future. Have faith and trust in Spirit's plan for you, and know that you are loved and cherished. The protection message says, are you feeling uneasy and mistrustful of the world? Have you been hiding in a safe spot, afraid to venture out because you're convinced that life and other people will disappoint you? Koala Spirit has appeared to let you know that your faith is misplaced. The present safety you seek is already passing away, because all things are temporary and outer conditions are always changing. Find your safety by placing your faith and trust in Spirit, who will grow the abundance that is already yours. Perhaps you are acting slowly and overly cautious because you lack faith that there is more for you out there than what you know. You may have boxed yourself into a safe place that has nothing else to give you, and become so familiar with it that you have forgotten to explore. Are you feeling pessimistic and convinced that there is nothing more out there for you? Koala Spirit reminds that self-care is meant to replenish you so that you can venture out again in faith, trusting that there is no limit to the joy Spirit wants you to experience. Be good to yourself and reconnect with Spirit to reclaim your faith in things yet unseen. I love that. And again, to me, that really talks about, that Hierophant card, again, really sort of strengthening and deepening that connection to yourself, to your higher self, to source, to spirit. And also, again, right, sort of having that sense of faith and trust in the universe as well as in yourself. So Pisces, again, that's been your 2021 year ahead reading. Again, if it resonated, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. If you'd like to donate to support this work, there are ways to do that as well. Or again, you can book a personal reading with me through the link down below. Everything's down below in the description box. Thank you so much for watching, for supporting this year, and I look forward to seeing y'all for your next reading next year. Take care. Bye.